Okay, all yours.
Thank you. Welcome everyone. So today we're going to be talking about the spirit of Ubuntu in the classroom. My name is Mama Klebi, and currently I'm a technology integrator at Stockholm International School. Let's get started. Umuntu, ngumuntu, kabantu. What does this mean? This means that a person is a person through others. This word is an Nguni word coming from South Africa, my home country. It also means I am because you are. So that's essentially what we're going to be talking about and how we can embody this in the classroom. I am because you are. Think of a time or a moment where you were inspired or influenced or encouraged by someone in your life. And how did that make you feel? And how did this impact your life? So if you can perhaps write it in the chat. Super, that's so true. It does normally make people feel grateful and positive, and it does have positive impacts in our lives. I am who you are, but who am I? Like, haven't properly introduced myself. This is my formal introduction. Yes, it also does make you feel stronger, right? This is my formal introduction, the profile that students and parents see. So I'd like to greet you in my mother tongue, Dumela, in English, hello, and hey in Swedish. I'm currently living in Sweden at the moment. I'm Mama Klebi. I'm a technology integrator and makerspace and technology teacher at Stockholm International School. You can always find me on Twitter at Mama Klebi, and I am part of the VIA 22 group. So this is the formal me. I'd like to introduce you to the me that everyone else knows. Who am I really? So I am from South Africa. So this is a photo of me at our UN Day celebration. I'm representing my culture, which is Bedi. I come from Pretoria in South Africa. I'm also a teacher, as I've mentioned. I'm a technology integrator. I am also married and I'm a foodie. My husband's name is Niels. And Elise, you can turn on your mic if it's okay, or you can just type in the chat. So my husband's name is Niels. I would like to hear, where do you think he comes from? I'd like to just hear where you think he comes from. Sweden. Actually, no, he doesn't come from Sweden. My husband's full name is Niels Francois, so actually he's French. So it's actually really interesting that we are actually also living in Sweden. His mom got the inspiration of his name from this book called Niels Holgersson, which is a book by a Swedish author, Salma Langeroth. And this is actually a story about a boy and his adventures in Sweden. So funny enough that we ended up here in Sweden and he's got no links to Sweden. His mom simply liked the title of the book. Yeah, oh, you know the book, fantastic. That's a really sweet book. I'm also, yes, I'm a foodie, as I say. This is one of my favorite photos because it truly shows the passion and the love that I truly have for all things cake related and food related. So yeah, and also we are new parents as well. So that's a little bit about me. And And now I'd like to know a little bit about you, who you are, if you don't mind sharing with me.
Hi, I'm sorry, my internet is coming and going.
No problem.
My name is Elsa Shondube. I live in Guadalajara, Mexico. And I have, where my great-grandparents were German, so my name is German.
Okay.
And I'm very pleased to meet you.
Thank you so much. I'm also happy to meet you too. And thank you also for joining.
And as you probably know, I'm Andy from the UK.
Yes. Hi, Andy.
Hey, Andy.
Hi, both.
So I'd like to share a little bit about Ubuntu in education as well. So within an education context, I feel that international education really embodies the spirit of Ubuntu. Currently, I'm working at an international school, so this is what I feel and what I've been seeing as well. So within the international mindset, with global citizenship, this truly embodies the spirit of Ubuntu, which promotes the mutual understanding of differences, and it also celebrates ideas. It values love and compassion, and we can do this by creating inclusive, safe communal spaces for learning and the exchange of knowledge to happen. I know in different schools, this looks different. Some schools, our school has a makerspace currently. So this is a space where we really thought to come together for us to allow the students to solve real world problems in an interactive way and in a safe space for them to do so. Welcome. Hi. Hi, Nelson.
Hi.
Hi. So yes, this is basically some other schools might have specific projects and programs like outreach. My previous school in South Africa used to have an outreach program where we would go to a school in an informal settlement and we would basically share resources, teaching resources, learning resources. We started an eco club and a space for the students to meet each other and work together on sustainable developments and projects as well. So this can look different in different spaces. Ubuntu in our environment. I believe that as custodians of our earth, we aim to protect and conserve our environment for future generations. How do you think we can do this in our classrooms? How can we make sure that we conserve and protect the earth? How do you think we could basically be more sustainable in our teaching as well as in the students' learning? So if you would like to say it out, you can say it, or if you'd like to type in the chat, you're welcome to type it in the chat. Yes, fantastic. It's true. Like educating students on the impact of our actions is really, really, really true and positive. For us, also showing the students that we need to not be as wasteful with the resources that we have is really important to us. That we are sustainable in our use of paper, in our use of materials. How can we reuse products and things? Or how can we give recyclable products a second chance, a second life as well. That's also a nice way for us that we try to promote sustainability and caring for our environment as well. And also Ubuntu and the exchange of ideas. Hi, Paul. Welcome. It's always great for us to create safe spaces that facilitate exchange of knowledge in our classroom. How do you feel that we could do that? How could we facilitate the exchange of knowledge by creating safe spaces in our classroom? You're welcome to turn off your mic if you'd like to jump in, or you can also type in the chat. Give you a little bit of time. That's very true, giving students time to speak. So ways that I've tried to create safe spaces for students to exchange knowledge. Yes, filling all answers right or wrong. That's so true. Chalk talks and making thinking visible. And also having learning galleries. This gives all students opportunity to at least express what they would like to say and what they feel and what they'd like to contribute, as well as for us being attentive listeners. Sometimes students just want you to just listen, and for us to show authentic listening really helps. And students are really good at seeing if we're being genuine at listening, or if we're not really listening, or give them enough time to hear what they have to say. Involving them in the classroom meetings, giving them the opportunity to set agendas as well. For me in the past, using Seesaw as a digital tool has also helped. It's helped our students being able to express themselves. If they don't really want to write, they could send me a video, or they could send a voice note if they don't want to show their faces, and so forth. And us as educators, we truly have the privilege and the responsibility for making our students feel seen, cared for, and members of our classroom community. And within our communities, it really does take a village to raise a child, which is one of my favorite African proverbs. And I really think it takes a whole school community to make sure that a student is successful in their learning. From the people that serve lunch, to the people that make sure that the grounds are clean, to the people that are specialist teachers, homeroom teachers, management, absolutely everyone, parents as well that are involved in the school, tech support, because without tech support, a lot of things aren't able to function in our school buildings. And it really helps if everyone the whole community is involved in our students' learning. And it really does take a village. And I'd like to share a couple of short simple Ubuntu things that we can do in our classrooms just to make sure that every student feels heard, included, listened to. Something that's really important and dear to my heart is learning students' names. I know what a big impact this has on a student because I have a very difficult name, a name that even many South Africans also struggle to say. When I started school in just about very early days of post-apartheid South Africa. And sometimes people either struggle or they didn't really show as much interest in trying to know my name, which was a little bit sad because my name does hold a lot of value to me. My name was actually my great-grandparents' surname. My great-grandmother, her surname was Motlabi. So for me being a female, Ma is the prefix. So I became Ma Motlabi. And my second name is actually her first name, which was Lanchester, which is, a lot of people look at it and think, how did that happen? What is that one? So then my parents named me actually Ma Motlabi Lanchester in honor of my great-grandmother, who actually was a headmistress. So there we go. We have a link of education. So where I come from as well, I am who you are. So learning student's name is incredibly important to me. Even if I struggle saying a student's name, it's always important to perhaps ask, how do you pronounce, or how can I say it better, or to remind them that perhaps this is a name I've never encountered and I might say this wrong. This has been the case for me, especially also now working in Sweden and in an international school as well. I encounter names that I've probably never heard of. So a lot of the times I do ask students to help me and to bear with me. So learning students' names is also really, really important. And also checking our own biases as teachers. I think most of us are aware of this. There are certain biases that we might have in our classes, thinking about certain students, giving students opportunity to shine before we dim their lights. That's really important. Creating positive environments, such as starting a school year off with classroom agreements instead of barking rules or having long lists of rules. Getting students to be involved, getting students to be involved in classroom meetings, setting agendas, having different roles for students during projects or everyday life for the students. That creates positive environments. Developing student agency, giving students the choice and voice and ownership, giving them the opportunity to lead learning. This also can foster the love and care that we show for our students in the classroom. And encouraging storytelling and celebrating differences. Everyone has a story, and it's always amazing to hear and to give students a chance to express and to tell their stories. I think we can all learn from each other. And also differences are fantastic and they're wonderful. And it's nice to learn every day and to find out more about our students. And lastly, sustainability projects as well, ensuring that our Earth is still an Earth tomorrow for future generations. So yeah, that's how I think we can simply use Ubuntu in the classroom as well. And yes, I hope you don't forget that I am because you are. So I know as teachers, we have the great responsibility for being that beacon, being that person. So continue doing the amazing jobs that you're doing and know that every learner that comes into your classroom is valued. And they will be the change makers of the futures. Thank you so much for joining me today, this morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you might be joining us from the world. Thank you so much.
And thank you. Really nicely presented session. Well done.
Thank you so much, Andy.